Hello, my name is Lisa Elvin Staltari, and this is my channel. Have Roots, Will Travel. I am a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Most of my videos will be about travel or understanding various localities, but in this special series, I'm focusing on a part of Quebec, Canada history that is near and dear to my heart, the story of the Filles Du Roi, or the King's Daughters. In this series, I'll be focusing on individual biographies so that we can get to know as many of these amazing women as we can. Please let me know in the comments below if there's one thing in particular you are interested in, and I'll try to move her to the front of the line. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the notifications alert so you'll know when a new post occurs. Let's start, shall we? Now, to begin with, Les Filles du Roi, the King's Daughter, was a program that I go into in great detail in the video called The King's Daughters, the Program. I have just recorded it actually, and you can then simply search for it in the YouTube, and that will give you a context of what the King's Daughters, the plan, how they were recruited and how they came across and all of that. So please check that out. The Filles Du Roi that we will be focusing on today, her name is Marie Faucon, and she is my 8 times great-grandmother. Let's have a look at where she's from. Marie was born in a village called Hyères, which is now known as Hyères-Brouage, in the arrondissement of Rochefort, in the section of France now known as Poitou-Charentes. She was baptized at the Saint Pierre Church in Hyères, which is the church that I've made a picture of here. Brouage was founded in 1555, and the town was founded on swampy land, which had previously been underwater. Its name, Brouage, comes from the surrounding mix of water and clay, which was called Brou. So you can see how they get that. Its economy was based on salt and access to the sea. Brouage was known for producing salt that was black in color, which was often sold to the royal family. Brouage exported large quantities of salt by land and sea as early as the 15th century. The town was fortified between 1630 and 1640 by the famous Cardinal Richelieu as a Catholic bastion in order to fight against the neighboring Protestant town of La Rochelle. Gradually, the harbor shifted up in the last part of the 17th century, leaving the town stranded and useless as a port. It fell into ruin. The town's most celebrated son is very important to us because he's the French navigator Samuel de Champlain, who lived there when he was young before being the co-founder of the French settlement in Acadia and Quebec. So you can see it's very close to the sea, and this area was renowned for that salt. Now, Marie was born March 28, 1644, so she would have been baptized in that church. Her parents' names were Pierre Faucon and Marie Berger. And unfortunately, she lost her parents, both parents. And she, by 1663, she had watched her cousin, Jeanne Roussilleux, depart for Canada in 1654, presumably as a fille à marier. Now it was Marie's chance, and she took it. She arrived in New France on Le Phoenix de Flesinge on the 30th of June, 1663. She was among the first arrival of the Filles du Roi. Amazing. Now, who did she choose? The groom she selected, or selected her, was Guillaume Chartier, dit Robert. His parents were Jacques Chartier and Marguerite Loisel. He was born in 1637 in the parish of St. Thomas in La Flèche, Anjou, France. Now, where he was born is very important because he was a member of the Grand Recrue, which is the great recruitment, and he arrived in Montreal in 1653, and many people from that Grand Recru happened to be from La Flèche. It was a port town, and they were employed, if you will, or recruited to help found Montreal and populate it. So he was in New France for quite a long time before he chose a bride. Once he did, they did get married in Montreal, and it took place in the church Notre Dame. They were married on November 27th, 1663 at Montreal. So he was there all by his lonesome for 10 years. Presumably he had a situation, he had a house, he had acquired things, so he was a good prospect. This is the other Notre Dame, I like to call it. So the Notre Dame de Beausecours Chapel was instituted by Marguerite Bourgeois in the 1650s and 60s. It did burn down, and this was the church that was rebuilt in 1771. So we have a picture of that. But Marie and Guillaume would have been married in that first original church. The church then burned down again. This church burned down again. And this is the third church that was built and is magnificent. And it is found today in Old Montreal. Those of you who have never been to Montreal, this is the place to go. It really, truly defines Montreal to some extent. And it is it's one of the oldest church in Montreal. It's located at 400 St. Paul Street East. So in case you're wondering where it is. And you can even get there by metro station. So it is truly a remarkable church, and for those of you who have the privilege of being the grandchild of these two people, then this is where it all started. Let's have a look at where Guillaume and Marie settled with their family. They settled in a place called Pointe aux Trembles, which literally means trembling point. You can see by the map that it truly is the northernmost tip of the island, northeast of the island, and it was chosen as an area, as a municipality, exactly for that location, because it could serve as a great place to defend the island. Now, when they first went there was no church, there was no parish, and eventually a parish was established in 1671. There was no church. The parish was called L'Enfant Jésus, which means Christ Child, and a church was finally built in 1678, and this is it. I'm assuming it has gone through many renovations. In 1719, a windmill was created, which still stands today, and you can visit it. And it is the tallest building the tallest windmill in Quebec that still stands. Now, what is notable about the church is that this was the first church built outside the city of Montreal's limits. So it became it was a major accomplishment, if you will. Let's have a look at the children and the family that they built there. Let's have a look at the family they created. Jacqueline Catherine, who was my 7 times great-grandmother, married Jacques Saint-Yves, and they had, imagine, 16 children, 10 of whom made it to adulthood. Pierre married Catherine Cathay, but they did not have any children, very unusual. Madeleine married Pierre Fay, dit Saint-Cartier, and they had 4 children, 2 of whom made it to adulthood. Claude did not marry. Laurent was killed by Iroquois at the age of 17 at a raid at Repentigny, where he had volunteered to serve. Marie married Bernard Brouillette, who is no relation to, so far that I can prove, to my family Briette's, and had 15 children, 10 of whom made it to adulthood. Catherine married Jean-Baptiste Sabourin, dit, wait a minute, sorry, Chonière, and they had 2 children, one of whom made it to adulthood. Sadly, Catherine passed away in childbirth. Now, Robert married Marie-Anne de Maire de Dumais, and they had 11 children, 9 of whom made it to adulthood. Elisabeth Isabelle married first Pierre Roy, with whom she had 8 children, 5 of whom made it. And then she remarried Jean Petit, and they had 3 more children, all of whom made it to adulthood. Marianne, as far as I can tell, did not marry. And then we have Etienne, who married Jeanne Drapeau and had 13 children, but only 5 of whom made it to adulthood. Let's have a look at the later years. Guillaume would pass away at the age of 72, a remarkable achievement to reach, on the 23rd of May, 1707. For his amazing service, he is recognized on a plaque that was unveiled in 2003 on the occasion of the 350th anniversary of the arrival of the Grand Recrue, the Great Recruitment. Marie would carry on, marrying Francois Jactot 18 months later, but tragically, Francois passed away a week after their wedding. Marie lived another year by herself, finally passing away at the age of 65 on the 4th of December, 1709. And so ends another chapter in the stories of Les Filles du Roi. I look forward to sharing with you another biography in another video. Until then, au revoir.